Hi there. After listening to my video blog last week, I want to talk a little bit more about overcoming childhood trauma. In my blog, I said that my childhood trauma wasn't true now, and it wasn't true then. And that's not completely accurate. It's not fair to my 4-year-old who was brave and strong and adapted to life the best way she knew how. Was I supported? Absolutely. Did I feel supported? No. I didn't know how to feel safe. I didn't know how to self-soothe. Some children come into life and they have nurturing parents and they're healthy and they develop emotional resilience and social intuition, and they have an optimistic outlook on life. Experiencing life from this perspective leads to flourishing. Of course, we face hardships and challenges in life, but if we're resilient and have social intuition, and if we're optimistic, we flourish. My inner 4-year-old didn't have that kind of childhood. When I observed the adults in my life, what they said and what I saw didn't match. And what that resulted in was my not trusting anyone to be honest or kind. As a result, I did feel alone and I felt scared. And it's just, life is really difficult when we're launched into life without any of the skills that we need to deal with fear. And what happens is we adapt. We are creative creatures and we adapt to the situations. Unfortunately, the ways we adapt lead to depression, anger, anxiety, and we flee in addiction. So the ideas I'm presenting today are not my own. I wish I could claim them. I'm talking about The Art of Fear by Christian Ulmer. And I'm also have part of my presentation based on the work of Vidi Amala, let me say that again, Vidi Amala Birch. She's the founder of Breathworks, and she's a pioneer in mindfulness-based pain management. And what we do in both of these ideas, both of these pioneers, is that we do something that is totally counterintuitive. Instead of trying to push our anger away or deny it, we develop skills to deal with it. We turn into the fear. So I'm going to try to do an analogy. So I'm going to shift cameras. Art class. And I haven't done any artwork since my daughter was born. And my daughter is going to be 36 years old. So it's been a long time, and I hope this is wet enough to do what I want to do. I'm going to put one more. So we're not, those of us who have trauma in our childhood, whether it's an illness or alcoholism or drug addiction in the family, or just having a very rigid parent who can't respond to our needs. So what happens is we get a black spot in our life. And when we look at our life, we don't see the area around it. What we see is the black spot. And if you say, well, don't imagine that an elephant in the room, and I mean, don't imagine an elephant in the room And the first thing that you do is you notice the elephant in the room, and you can't make it go away. So what we have here, and we see our life as black and white. And in black and white, there are very few options. It's either right or wrong. It's either good or bad. And there's no in between for us to negotiate or to have any breathing room. So what do we do in mindfulness? In mindfulness, we begin to try and shift our perspective outward. So maybe we start looking at the things that feel good in our life, and we notice that things that we taste. So we can have a delicious dinner and we practice noticing this. And then we notice things that feel good on our skin. And then we notice things that we smell. And so we begin to notice things and colors around us. And what happens when we live in a black and white world is that we miss out on life. We miss out on everything. We miss out on special moments that we could have appreciated because we're too obsessed with the shame and the constrictions of a black and white life. And and so we are just noticing our senses, things that we hear that are pleasant. And so we begin to have all kinds of things in and around us. Then the next step in mindfulness is to try and soften the edges. We're not going into the fear yet. We're just merely softening the edges, pulling down some of the things closer to it, not delving down. We're just softening the edges. And when we have developed our ability to kind of separate our thoughts and judgments and to develop curiosity and to suspend judgment for a time, then we get ready to mind the treasure. This is a concept of Vidi Amala, that when we are ready, when we have tools and when we practice, we go and mine for treasure, and we go and we dig down deep. And one of the things that I realized is that my love, my being alone, and my preferring to be in a library all alone gave me a love of books and learning that I still do today. As you've noticed, I mentioned lots of different books. This gives me the ability to reach into the minds of the most learned people, the pioneers in different areas. And my number one character strength, I did a test for this, is a love of learning. And so my being alone and the unhappiness of my childhood gave me a gift that I can share with people and help them make their lives better. My love of learning, my unhappiness also gave me another gift. And that is that I found safety in a dance studio. And not only did I get safety from the dance studio, which is one of these hidden treasures, I got social capital. And social capital is really important, especially when you're a teenager and you need a place to belong. I didn't have personal skills to have a lot of friends, and I didn't have any social intuition, but this ability to dance, um, I was accepted by my peer group, and I was respected, and I had so many opportunities from this ability. And I have shared my dancing talent and with so many people. I have developed a form of neurotrophic dance. It's good for the brain. I do ecstatic dance events and helping people, particularly women, to feel free in their body. So this was just a gift that has been so wonderful for me. And there are probably other gifts that would not have come about had I not had this experience. So today, I am struggling with anxiety. I'm struggling with anxiety because the leaders of the world aren't dealing with the most important issues at hand, the survival of our planet. And the only thing that I can do in my sphere of the world right now is to teach mindfulness. So I hope this is not a very beautiful piece of artwork, but it shows you that now my trauma is a small part in the fabric of this tapestry of my life. And I can look at it not as just a big black hole, and I can see it that there were things that came out of it that would not have come out of my life had I not had this experience. I wouldn't be able to do this work today with heart and passion without this experience. So let me look at my notes. So what am I doing today to counter my anxiety? Well, I stopped feeding the cycle of panic breathing, and I'm doing well now. I will talk about that on a later video blog because I want to concentrate on the trauma and on undoing the trauma. And I'm doing a journal. And in the journal, I am making note of how I'm supported. And the idea of taking the Raisin meditation, it's the first meditation we teach in the 8-week mindfulness-based stress reduction course. And taking the idea of the Raisin meditation, we did all the senses at the beginning, but then we expand and we go, where did the raisin start? Well, we went into the deep trauma, but there's still another step. I am supported by so many people. I can't even count them all. And a lot of the people I don't even know, I've never met and never will meet. I'm supported. One of my challenges is technology. And I'm supported by Geek Squad. I can pick up the phone, I can call them anytime. I'm a functional medicine health coach, and I'm supported by the Institute of Functional Medicine. I'm a Daniel Amen certified brain coach, and I am supported by his all his courses and his video blogs. And I'm supported by the people who grow organic produce. And I'm supported by, and the list just goes on. I'm supported by the people that work at natural grocers. And I'm supported by the people who work on those farms, and the list just and goes on, and the perspective of how I'm supported gets wider and wider and wider. So if you are experiencing depression, if you are experiencing anger, if you just can't cool it, and it can be anything from punching a hole in the wall to just being rigid. If you are experiencing anxiety, if you are experiencing addiction, Make a choice to do something, one small choice to help move you in another direction. There are so many tools that are available for us today. There's cognitive behavioral counseling. There's narrative therapy that's rewriting the life story, like I just did for you a few moments ago, and taking the steps to feel that internal change. There's EMDR, where you it's bilateral stimulation, and it helps change the emotional charge of your stories. There's 12-step work. There's neurofeedback that you just sit and relax, and your brain learns to be calmer and more peaceful and more connected. There's mindfulness-based stress reduction. And I'm sure there are other ways that are unique and meet your needs. I hope you will take a step to move towards flourishing, to a wider perspective, to move away from black and white thinking, and be the person that you are meant to be. The world needs people who are passionate and live their life fully. I'm Diana Liss, founder of Rejuvenating Lifestyle for mind, body, health, and happiness, and I wish you a life of flourishing.